I know the title to this video sounds a little ridiculous and sounds like clickbait, and I promise you it is not. And before you downvote this video into oblivion, let me just have the opportunity to clarify, because I don't think that my theory is that crazy. Well, mostly not that crazy. So there are many reasons people want to own a Tesla. The sleek looks, the performance, the software updates, Sentry mode, and more. But Autopilot is probably right up there in like the top 3 reasons why people want to buy a Tesla, if not at the #1 spot. And who doesn't love Autopilot? It is an incredible system that works like magic every time you use it, and the more you use it, the better it gets over time. It brings us closer and closer to this dream of a full self-driving car finally becoming reality, and even just basic Autopilot is more advanced than the competition. Let's just be honest about that. And Tesla is running laps around other car manufacturers, and Autopilot is a great example of how the company is exceeding and doing some really cool things. Which leads us though to a very interesting question. What if Tesla was to license out this Autopilot technology out to other car manufacturers, meaning your next Audi, BMW, or even your next Honda could drive itself in an Autopilot mode made by Tesla using the same Autopilot system? It sounds crazy, but it might one day become reality, and maybe even become reality sooner than you may think. So since 2014, Tesla has been a very big and vocal proponent to open source. They've made it clear that basically since the beginning, the mission of Tesla has been to accelerate the advent of sustainable transportation. That is right there on their website. And obviously a lot has changed since 2014 over the last 6 years. And although I don't know the ins and outs of Tesla and what its contributions are to the open source community, I'm sure they keep some of their good stuff pretty close to the chest. I'm sure they're not opening up everything to make everything available for everybody. Heck, you even have people like Rich Rebuilds who have a hard enough time just getting genuine replacement parts from Tesla, let alone trying to get access to the full Tesla software. But over the years, Tesla has continued to give away part of their software kind of in an effort to drive safety and innovation forward. But now Tesla is possibly looking to take everything a step further and crank it up a bit, supposedly offering up hardware and software out to other manufacturers in terms of licensing. Elon tweeted back saying, quote, "Tesla is open to licensing software and supplying powertrains and batteries. We're just trying to accelerate sustainable energy, not crush competitors," end quote. And when someone asked about Autopilot specifically as an option to be licensed out, he said simply, sure. So maybe that is actually going to be a thing. Now imagine other manufacturers taking advantage of this incredible Tesla technology. Other companies obviously are doing their own driver assistance things, and they have their own packages and their own special hardware and software offerings. But let's be honest about it all. It's probably not even close here in 2020 to what Tesla has been doing for years with Autopilot and that system. And obviously, there are some obvious questions about how this would all work if it was to become reality, and if it could possibly maybe take a little bit away of that Tesla luster or that kind of specialty about buying a Tesla. Could that be taken away if Tesla was to essentially license out the best parts of their car and their technology out to other companies? But there also are some inherent upsides to Tesla. Obviously, the more people using Autopilot, the better the system would be for everybody. If you suddenly had this whole new market of individuals, a whole new class of drivers in different vehicles utilizing this system all over the world, the data that is so important to helping this system get better for everybody would essentially get better. More data this algorithm and system has to process, the better Autopilot would be. And it could really accelerate the development of new features for Autopilot and ultimately kind of push this whole idea of full self-driving, that whole concept forward, something many people have been asking for years. And you also, of course, with this being Tesla, you can't ignore the money angle, which, let's face it, is pretty important to Tesla, and probably more importantly, its shareholders. Licensing out the Autopilot system could make Tesla boatloads of cash and royalties. I mean, this is basically how Microsoft became a tech juggernaut, by making the software and licensing it out to other manufacturers who made the hardware. Not exactly the same thing here, but you get the idea. this could be a great way for Tesla to make some much needed cash. Now, we don't know exactly when this would happen or what this would look like or what a timeline could even look like. But in the meantime, if you wanted to have an autopilot-like feature set on your car, you actually don't have to own a Tesla in order to take advantage of a system that's very similar. There is something called OpenPilot that exists, and if you haven't heard of it, it is this crazy, powerful open source software app that kind of turns a regular car with some standard hardware involved into a kind of fully self-driving car, or at least as fully self-driving as basic autopilot is. Now, you can go onto the OpenPilot website for yourself to see if your car is supported, but typically if it has any kind of driver assistance package or any kind of safety features like lane keep or adaptive cruise control, it might just work. And what's crazy about this whole OpenPilot system is that it works with one camera on a cell phone kind of mounted to the dash, and it works with that in conjunction with the hardware built into your car. I can't really do it justice explaining it in this video. It is crazy how it works, and you have to watch the videos of this system in action. If you haven't gone down the rabbit hole of OpenPilot in action, or more specifically, the founder, George Hotz, just sitting there and programming and working on stuff, I definitely recommend setting aside some time for a little YouTube binging because it is quite worth it. So bringing it all back, what do you guys think about this idea? What if Tesla was to license out this software and even some hardware out to other manufacturers in an effort to kind of stir up some cash, to accelerate the advent of electric vehicles, or to even more accelerate the advent of full self-driving technology? Would it make the whole Tesla experience better for owners, or would it be worse? I'd be curious to know what you guys have to say and what you think about this, so please leave a comment down below. As always, I appreciate all the support, all the comments. Subscribe to the channel, like this video if you have not already. I sincerely appreciate it. I am Robert Rosenfeld, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.